Hello and welcome back to our study of Peninei Halacha, the teachings of Rav Eliezer Melamed Shlit. We're beginning a new week of learning in our topic of Bein Adam Lechaveiro. First, wish everyone a good Chodesh Tov. Today is the first day of Rosh Chodesh Tammuz. Hard to believe, which means that in a couple of weeks, the 3 weeks begin, which then brings us to Tisha B'Av, which then brings us to Elul, which then brings us to Rosh Hashanah. If I really want to put it in perspective, make everyone depressed, tomorrow is the first day of Tammuz, which brings us 3 months exactly from Rosh Hashanah, or until Rosh Hashanah. So, as I mentioned in Shul, we should repent now and avoid the June rush, as they used to say. In any event, let's continue our learning here. We have 1 week of learning, just to let everyone know my schedule. 1 week of learning this week, Emir to Hashem, and then the following 2 weeks I will be running and participating in 2 consecutive missions in Israel. So I'll be in Israel, will not be recording episodes during that time, and everybody perhaps a good chance to review. I'll be back and forth over the summer, have somewhat of a lighter schedule, but we'll try to get in as much learning as we can, so here we go. Lashon Hara. Hayisur shulai mevatei yoser mikol esei yachasim ha'teknim shetzrichim lisror bein Adam Lechaveiro al pi haTorah hu isur Lashon Hara. The prohibition, which perhaps needs the most work, just to paraphrase, in interpersonal relationships based on Torah law, is the prohibition of Lashon Hara. Merkaz yoso shel isur hazeh gedola kol kach, ad shepa'amim rabos hamusag sinas chinam makbil isur Lashon Hara. It's so great, the centrality of this isur, of this prohibition, is so great that sometimes the whole basis of sinas chinam, the basis of hatred, stems from Lashon Hara. Shekei namru chachamim zichronim levracha she'isur Lashon Hara shakul keneged shalosh averos hachamuros biyoser avodah zarah gilui aros v'shfichas damim. The Gemara in Erechim says that the prohibition of Lashon Hara, of speaking the evil tongue, we'll have to define exactly what this is. Again, that could be a whole study in and of itself. But the prohibition of speaking Lashon Hara, and when you say Lashon Hara, whatever part of Europe you're from, the Gemara says, is tantamount to the big 3, which is idol worship, murder, and illicit sexual relationships. Yetzer al-Kain, by Srisha Nechrav Bavon Avodah Zarah, the first Beis HaMikdash was destroyed because of the sin of idol worship, Gilui Aros Shvichas Damim, and of course the other 2 as well. We usually say Avodah Zarah, but we add in there Gilui Aros and also murder. Vilu Ba'isheni Sharayom Omed B'Chorbeinu Chrav Bavon Sinas Chinim V'Lashon Hara. The Gemara in Yuma says that the second Beis HaMikdash, which still remains in a state of destruction, was destroyed not because of those big 3, but because of baseless hatred, and ultimately Lashon Hara. Isur Lashon Hara mischalek l'shlosha chalakim. The prohibition of speaking Lashon Hara is divided into 3 parts. There's something called rechilos, Lashon Hara, v'hotzah shemra. So let's define these: rechilos, Lashon Hara, and hotzah shemra. First, rachil. Rachil is hu haholech kirochel me'adam la'adam. Rachil is like a peddler. A peddler, someone who goes from one person to the next. V'omar, kach omar lecha ploni, v'kach dibra lecha almoni. So-and-so said this about you, and he said this about you, etc., etc. And af al pi shedevarav emes, ve'ein bekavanoso lahazik lechaveiro v'laganoso. And sometimes it's just good gossip. We're not trying to hurt anybody. It doesn't have any ill intention. Mikal makam diburim ka'ela alolim grom lesichsuchim ulachrives olam. Nevertheless, as we all know, this type of quote-unquote innocent chatter can actually cause great machlokas, and it can destroy a world. Avon chomi yoser hu Lashon Hara. Stricter than that is something called Lashon Hara, or Lashon Hara. V'zeh mesaper divrei emes b'gnusa shel chaveiro. This is someone who says something truthful about his friend, but something negative. Kolomar, ein ha'isur b'zeh shehu meshaker, ela isur b'kach shehu mefarsem es kolono shel chaveiro. He's not violating the prohibition of lying. He is violating the prohibition of Lashon Hara because he is denigrating his fellow person. Often when you'll tell somebody and you'll say, oh, it's Lashon Hara, don't speak it, the answer is, yeah, but it's true. People mistakenly think that Lashon Hara means you're spreading false information, but if it's true, it's okay to spread it. That is not the case. Lashon Hara, by definition, is true. Something that's not true is a completely different category, which we'll see in a moment. But Lashon Hara is true, but it is negative. Now again, whole shiur in and of itself. There are times, perhaps, when for a to'eles, for a certain purpose, you have to say something negative, but there's a way to say it, and there's a time and a place. But generally speaking, and I think we can all identify this with Lashon Hara, when we say something about someone else, even if it's true, that's what makes it Lashon Hara, because it is true, but it is negative. And the third category, Hutzah Shemra, we call Motzi Shemra, which means bringing out an evil name. Zeha Omer Shkarim Begenusa Shel Chavrim. That's when you just tell flat out lies. When you make something up about someone else that's negative, or you tell something that's completely untrue, that's the third category of Motzi Shemra. V'yeshno Musag Nusaf Halacha, and he says there's another idea, or another category, so to speak, in Halacha, V'hu Baal Lashon Hara. There's speaking Lashon Hara, there's something called a Baal Lashon Hara. Kimat Kol Adam Nichshal Lefamim B'Diburim Shel Ganai Al Chaveiro. Almost everyone is guilty, everybody stumbles in speaking negatively about someone else. There are some people, however, who, like, this is their mainstay. This is what they do. The joy in life they get, their satisfaction, you feel good by speaking Lashon Hara or peddling tales of others. Al kol mi shirak efshar. Anyone who's possible. Lahem kar chachamim bali Lashon Hara. So chachamim gave them a special category of people who are known to be, a baal means an owner of, but like you're a Lashon Hara person. Ve'in ze rak bita b'yama. This is only a title. Ala pasaka Rambam, but the Rambam writes in Hilchos Deos, she'ein lador b'shchenos im adam shehu baal Lashon Hara. You shouldn't live in proximity to such a person. And certainly one shouldn't sit with such a person and listen to his or her words. Gemara in other places says that virtually everybody, is in violation of Lashon Hara at one time or another, and it's very hard to resist saying something about someone else. It's certainly hard to resist listening to something about someone else, but this is part of the prohibition of etc., is that we have to guard our speech and watch how we speak. And we will continue looking at this a little bit more this week in depth, these laws of Lashon Hara, which are very, very complicated. But thank you for joining us today, and I wish everybody a good Chodesh. I hope you have a great day and a great week ahead, and we'll see you here next time.